Before I start with Lumdus, someone asked me last night a question. I'm not sure. Herschel, especially for you. There is a famous meeting that the Rebbe had with what was that time called Nechei Tzahal, the wounded of Tzahal. And the Rebbe was like unbelievably thrilled about it. They made the preparations from the ceremony. They brought with wheelchairs, and some people came with their feet. It was a huge group in 770. There was men and women. The Rebbe was like so emotional and so excited about it.
Is that after the Yom Kippur Wars?
Yeah, yeah. After the Yom Kippur War, I mean, it's a while after the Yom Kippur War, but there was unfortunately a lot of wounded of Sal, and they had made then a group to take them to America, to have a good time. The Rebbe had especially chidus for them. It was remarkable. So someone asked me if I could find it.
Emotionally, probably.
Yeah. The Rebbe said at that time, I want to shake every one of your hands. It was not Chabad style to shake the Rebbe's hand at all. And the Rebbe said, and this is Miramis, signifies the Ten Commandments because it's 5 hands and 5 hands. It's 5 luchas and the 5 luchas. They ever went around and shook everyone's hand and smiled, had a few words with each one of them. It was a remarkable thing. Person asked me last night if I could tell. So I happened to be, I had the entire set of the secret. I was missing this volume. So so I searched. It's not a big deal. Everything on the computer today, it's unbelievable. I pulled up the sikha and I made a copy. His son came to my house and I gave him the copy of the sikha. And I said, hey, you know what? My children are sitting in Malava Malka and they're waiting for me to tell them a nice story. I said, okay, you know what? Let me print out another copy for myself. The Rebbe walked into the room. It was right before, it was Chav Gimel Menachem of Tavshan Lamed Vav. The Rebbe walked into the room. And the Rebbe said, I'd like to apologize. I speak Hebrew, but with Avara Ashkenazit. So I apologize. Then the Rebbe started speaking. The Rebbe said that, we're called the Am Echad Mefuzar Mefoired Bein Amid. There is, on the one hand, Jews are Atem Kolamim. We're very small. So what gives us the power? Because Jews could transcend time and space. There is quality and quantity, the Rebbe said. Sometimes you look at quantity and you think the power is in the quantity. But sometimes when there's something which has an unbelievable quality that overpowers quantity. Mm-hmm. The Jewish people have a kedusha. So therefore, even though it seems like the mefuzar and mefoired ben amin, they're different times. They span from Mount Torah till today, close to 4,000 years, and they spread all over the world. But the truth is that the Jews have a spiritual thing which unite every Jew throughout all generations. And that's a spiritual power that allows a Yid to transcend time and space. And that's when they have a transition to talk about that sometimes there's a person that's lacking something physically. In other words, these people were wounded. Some of them were missing a hand or a leg or this or that. The Rebbe said, that it's not the person's fault. So they have no reason to feel upset about it. On the contrary, the Rebbe said that the Eibishter created the human being. And if a person had the schus to defend the Jewish people living in Eretz HaKodesh, which is the right place where a Jew needs to live, and a person had the schus to defend them, and in the process of defending Jews, he, Rahman al-Islam, lost something physically. That's a proof that in spirit, he has a stronger koyach, and that he could prove to the world that he could be successful in society and do things and succeed more than ordinary people. And that's what the Rebbe said his famous word. The Rebbe said, Ein daiti nocha. I'm not happy that in Israel, I'm sorry, I didn't make a copy of it in here. I should have. Maybe I'll give you the copy of this if you want afterwards. I'll give you. The Rebbe said, Ein daiti nocha. I am not happy that in Israel, there's a term for the wounded of Tzahal called Nechei Tzahal. The Rebbe said that's not the truth. Nechei means the wounded. That's not true. The Eibishter must have picked these neshamas to give them the schus.
It needs more than wounded. It needs to cripple.
The Rebbe said that shezemare al nichitut v'yirida kimad Rabbe tzarich ladgish b'zeh shu mashu miyuchad mutzuyan al yedei boyre olam, and that boyre olam gave him kochot sheyeshna that an ordinary person doesn't have, and therefore he could go above the regular fray, and he could succeed in life more than the regular person. L'chein hayiti matzia sheyushanu et Hashem v'yikaru mitzuyanim b'Yisrael. Not right, not nechim. They should be called mitzuyanei tzahal. I don't know.
Exceptional?
Yeah, exceptional. Mitzuyan. And the Rebbe said, "V'zeh gam ken yaskir amayim chazal." As our nation was in Golus in Mitzrayim, it says, "Vayisham lagoy gadol otzum v'rov," and our sages say in the Agadah Shel Pesach, "Melamed shahoy Yisrael mitzuyanim sham." So, I mean, the Rebbe says, my suggestion is not just semantics. The Rebbe said, it's not semantics. It's biur hamatzav la'amitato. Ki bazeh madgishim al yedei Hashem atzma sheyesh kan ish o isha mitzuyan umiyuchad. ולכן יש להם הזכות להראות דוגמה חיים מתוך שמחה ובטחון עצמי שכל אחד ואחת מבני ישראל נשמתו מתגבר סוף סוף על הגוף ושולט עליו. That the spirit of a person is stronger than the body, and therefore if something is missing here and there in the body, it doesn't make a difference to the person's life, and he has because the spirit gives him the power to have bitachon atzmi, confidence, and simcha, and that was the Rebbe's big point.
He talked to him in Hebrew?
Yeah, as I said, the Rebbe said, and the Rebbe apologized that he's talking with the Ashkenaz Havara.
He spoke very good Hebrew with me.
Really?
I was 45 minutes. Me and my wife.
No, he spoke Ashkenazit or Sfaradit?
In between.
The Rebbe usually spoke Hebrew, but Havara Ashkenazit.
But you know, it's 14 languages. I asked us what language you want to speak. I said, Rabbi, don't tempt me. I was a little chutzpah. I said Arabic. He said, no. Somebody take a picture. How we do it? Please.
Okay, so it's a beautiful talk, and since Uri, you asked about it, I'm giving you the copy of that talk, and if anyone else wants a copy, yeah, no problem. If anyone else wants a copy, let me know. I'll print it out, bring it to you tonight or tomorrow.
50 years ago.
Yeah, it's exactly 50 years ago.
Wow. That's when you're in Kippur War?
No.
3 years after.
This is 3 years after the war.
They have a video?
By then, yeah.
They have a video.
I think so.
That's why Chabad was always for Yom HaZikaron. I know that I'm sharing a lot of it. Chabad is very much involved in
Doing things.
for Yom HaZikaron. They remember the chayolim that fall for the Medina. It's something that most other Haredi Jews don't do. Chabad was unique in that.
At the everyone like
Very important.
Yom HaShoah, all these things right after
It was Nissen, it was a separate thing because it's a Nissen, Yom HaShoah, it's a different thing.
That's a different thing. But Yom HaZikaron,
Right.
I
want to, since I was already doing a search on the Rebbe site, I was looking, and I found a beautiful story about Rabbi J.J. Hecht. What happened was, he gets a call one day from a Galach. There's a Jewish man looking for a job. Would you be able to help? So Rabbi Hecht was a Pikeach. He said, sure. What's your address? He was there in 15 minutes. What happened? And the Galach was walking in Central Park, and he saw a homeless guy. And the guy asked him for money. So the Galach invited him to come to the church. The guy came. He was wounded in Yom Kippur War. And he came to America, and he became homeless. And he was, being wounded, that there's a wound in the body and a wound in the soul too. Usually, people that are homeless, it's
one
So-
step away from you.
And he was hungry. I say he went to the church, and he had a problem. He had no green card, no nothing. The Galach told him, "I'll get you a job. I'll get you a green card." But the Galach can't find him a job. So the Galach asked him if he would work in the church. So he said, "Yeah." But the Galach wasn't sure he wants this guy in his church. So he tried to make a few phone calls. He already told the guy he'll give him the job, but still he was trying to find him maybe someone else. So he looked and he looked and Bin Mikre, he looked in the phone book and he saw Rabbi J.J. Hecht. So he called. Rabbi Hecht comes and he meets. He says, "What's your name?" Yoav. He says, "Yoav, what are you doing here?" He said, "I'm hungry. I'm here. I'm looking for a job. I'll find you a job." No, but the Galach told me he'll get me a green card. I'll get you a green card. No, the Galach said he could expedite it in 6 months. I'll do it in 3 months. Rabbi Hecht, so
He probably has had a connection.
he happened to have very good connections, Rabbi Hecht. Rabbi J. I got it from, the Chabad has a weekly thing, Sichat HaShavua. This is from many, many years ago. I have my Utz HaChochma, so I do searches. So Rabbi J.J. Hecht says to him, so he's like hesitant. So Rabbi J.J. Hecht says, "Listen, you know why your neshama came to this world? It has a purpose in this world. Why would you give everything up for an empty promise from the Galach?" The guy was convinced. He came to Crown Heights. Rabbi Hecht found him a job. Rabbi Hecht worked on his green card. In the meantime, this was a time when the Rebbe was giving out dollars. So he told them, if you want, you can stand online and get $1. The guy, from then on, every single Sunday until the Rebbe, last Sunday, every Sunday he would go to the Rebbe. And he says the first time he came, the Rebbe told him, maybe he said something to the Rebbe, I'm not sure, it wasn't clear in the story here. The Rebbe said that, my opinion is that there's no such thing as Nechet Tzahal. There's no wounded, there's no crippled. They are mitsuyanim. And he said, every time I came to the Rebbe to get $1, the Rebbe said something nice to me, an extra word. He gave me $1 and said something nice. And he says that he, Baruch Hashem, he got a job and he got married.
You said how many dollars he has?
No.
Probably a
He
lot.
probably has a lot of dollars. And he says, Baruch Hashem. Yeah. He says he's from now, he has a family, and he has a business, and he's matzliach.
What year this was?
What's his name?
Now,
What year?
his name, Yoav Eitan.
No, what year it was written?
No, this is.
In the Bible.
Probably the ninth.
I don't know. It says the number of the Sichat HaShavua, but I can print it out and give you a
The
copy.
eighties probably, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
unbelievable.
Well, Rabbi, from the story, you would think that the Balfour wanted to burn it, no?
That's probably what the Galach was gonna do.
Why did you? He couldn't get the green card.
Who knows why? He felt bad for him at first, but then he was stuck with the Israeli in his church. Yeah.
my uncle was Rabbi's personal therapist.
Oh yeah. Oh, very nice. So what was that's so interesting. Yeah.
Worked a very close friends for many years.
What was your uncle's name?
Eunice.
No.
And he was his attorney.
Not only personal, but the whole system.
Right. I'm sure very nice. It's a source for both of them. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Rabbi Hecht, and I'm sure if your uncle worked with him, they were the same cloth. Was a beautiful example. A boy that was born in the United States of America, and just showed a good example of Yakir, and with he managed to move and shake things, to do beautiful things. We're talking now about Iran, so he was the person that was involved. The Rebbe appointed him to be involved in bringing out. I'm sure the legal issues were tremendous. They brought out a few thousand children from Iran, and the parents later came. They immediately got the kids, and this way it made it easier for the parents. And they had a tremendous amount of legal issues. I would assume your uncle was involved in that. It was one of Rabbi Hecht's big projects. Okay,
Many years ago.
that was many years ago. Yeah. That's when the Shah fell. Yeah, when Ayatollah, when the
Rebbe made sure they had rights on it. 79.
yeah. The Rebbe told Rebbe Hechter should make sure they have rights on Pesach. Okay, Pas Akum. We spoke about the Shabbos. Someone asked if I can a little explain more. So let's go through this very quickly. Shulchan Aruch Yeridei Siman Kuf Yud Beis. I enjoy going through sometimes these things. Everyone always thinks that Sfardim have it easy and the Ashkenazim have it hard because on some issues the Ashkenazi poskim are more machmer. But there's the 3-4 things that the Sfardim are very machmer that outweigh all those little chumras that the Ashkenazim have. Okay, so here is one example where the Sfardim are more machmer. Okay, Shulchan Aruch Yeridei Siman Kuf Yud Beis. Also, goyim. Also, they made a flat out isur. They were scared that if the Jew and the goy will break bread together, there'll be intermarriage. So they said you can't break bread together. You can't have the goy's bread. Has to be from the 5 grains. Was made out of rice or millet or beans. That's not part of the isur. Also, the bishul wouldn't be a problem because these are things that are not kosher and they don't go onto the king's table. Okay. This is the next sif. No, we're back to the Shulchan Aruch. Hagah was the Ramah. Yes, Hagah is the Ramah.
I know. So that's when
These things that are like rice cakes or millet cakes, or they're not also because of bishlakum, because you never put rice cakes on a shulchan malachim.
Yeah, they would start one day to do it.
That would be different.
Change.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, back to the Shulchan Aruch now. This is Siv Beis. There are places that are very mekel. They take bread from a Goyish baker, but if there is no Jewish baker, because what can you do? It's a Shasat Chak. And the Beis Yosef explains and brings from Rishon that the Chazal made Gzeira not to eat Goyish bread, but when they saw that there are cities and countries where only the Goy is a baker, what should they do? Should they starve? Well, a person can't go without eating, so they were mekel. Okay. Now the V'yesh Emrim is the Ramah. The Ramah is mekel. V'yesh Emrim dafila b'mokim shepas Yisrael motzi shori. That even if the Jewish bread is available, there is a Jewish baker in the city, you're allowed to buy from the Goyish baker. So that's why the Sfardim are machmir and the Ashkenazim are mekel. They say as long as it's from a bakery, there's no chash of chasnos. Avo pasha balabatim to buy a pas of a Goyish balabos ain't shemishemer balahakol shikir gzerim shem chasnos. Im yechel pas balabatim yavoy lisoid etzlam. If he's gonna, that's the ikar gzeira. So forget about it. That everyone agrees is awesome.
But
A private person's bread. A guy who's
Right.
baked bread in his own house.
Oh, so let's read the next line. Now go 1 second. When is it called bas balabatim? If he baked it in his house in order to feed it to his family. If he made it in his house, but he was planning to bring it out in the basket to the marketplace and sell it in the marketplace. Mikri palter, that's called pas palter. And same thing, but even though he's not a professional baker, but today he made bread and he put it in a basket in order to bring it to the marketplace to sell in the marketplace. That's called pas palter. Also, the opposite, a baker that baked a few loaves of bread for his family. That's mikri balabais. Pas balabais, yes. So, bottom line is, no one is makel to allow pas goyim if it's pas balabais. It's only the question is from a bakery, from the bakery. Only child is from the bakery. So the Sfardim said that the bakery is only if you had no choice. There's only one baker and the goy. And Ashkenazim said, no, even if there is 2 bakers, one is Jew and one is a goy, it's up to you. You can take whichever you want.
But they're not afraid. He go to the Goyish bakery So many things there. You're not going to buy only bread.
But
You're tempted to buy more. That's more.
First of all, those days, I think even I mentioned Shabbos even today. They had a bakery had bread. I used to go. There was a one bakery in France where my grandparents lived, Aubervilliers. So there was one bakery they allowed that the Jew would come once and put on the pilot. So there was only one thing they sold in the bakery: baguette. So
Clever.
baguette. You could get the big baguettes, the small, or the fat baguettes, or the skinny baguettes. So baguettes coming out of the oven constantly. Baguettes. That's it.
Is that the French bread?
Yeah, yeah.
French known and the baguette are the best.
Oh, yeah.
It's known.
Oh yeah.
I was a kid, and we used to go to Uruguay on vacation. My father used to take me to the bakery. He used to put the thing, and then
Used to use the Uruguay. Why would you go Uruguay?
Uruguay, Buenos
Oh,
Aires is next door.
it's very close.
So yeah, so there was also a Spanish community there that
In Uruguay?
in Uruguay. They came straight from the Holocaust. Then in 1973 they came to Borough Park, Williamsburg, and some to Rishon. Some people they're very Chassidish here. They're from there. Speak to them in Spanish.
Yeah.
What city in Uruguay? What
City
city?
there, but we used to go to a place like Tosca.
Oh, wow.
Some,
Is there any
and now
food left?
after my brother and my Zayda, they used to have a hotel. When they came from there, they used to rent a place, and all this Chassidim, we used to come to that. That's why my family was connected to the place.
Do they still have a community there? They still have a community there?
Much smaller, but not sad. I went to the mikveh there. It was like a mikveh in Williamsburg, like the old mikvehs in Crown Heights.
Yeah.
I went-
Wow. Interesting.
Right.
Interesting. Interesting. Did you get by my daughter's wedding the chura with? I have to get. You got it. My mechut made a booklet for my daughter's wedding with all the choshev rabbonim from Buenos Aires from the past 150 years. You got a copy of it? I'll give you. Oh, you have it. Yeah. Okay.
Made a bigger one? Or
No. He made that one. Okay, fine. Very good. Weiter. Zog the Shach. Next paragraph. The Shach. As if cotton ches. Wie shomer. במורדכי קוצב הטעם, וכפי שאויסו מקיימם סנויגים הטן, היינו משום שלא נספשת איסו פס שלא תיקחו מתחילת הגזירה באיסו מקיימס. ויש shomer. במורדכי קוצב הטעם, וכפי שאויסו מקיימם סנויגים הטן, those places that were known to be makel, היינו משום שלא נספשת איסו פס שלא תיקחו מתחילת הגזירה באיסו מקיימס. When Chazal made the Gzeira, it didn't spread out. It never took root in those places. It didn't spread this Isur. Mashma da fil pasha balabatim muter. The loin is pasha klali. So pasha lev kechom. Moise mekaymes. V'chem uchoy b'morad cheshamayin sham. V'afkav de b'yishalmi. Perikem amid de moise pasha balabatim. V'chein severim yesh poiskim hoyinu nam yasre pal. Palter lev kechom dike palti Yisrael. Mishum de svira loin is pasha tisa machol mekaymes. Elo the chozru v'hitiru mishum mechay nefesh palter. Lev kechom heiche de leke palter Yisrael. Because chay nefesh. So because of Aval man, the Svidala, the Londis Pasha to Isur Boys on the Kremis Cloud, the Cholin Shori. So the Shach said, I don't understand. He says, Monavshach, if you hold the Pasha Tisuroi, that the Isur came to your country, so you're awesome. You're awesome. Any type of bread from a guy. The only cooler would be that to say that Chachamim later made an amendment, and they said, if there's only a Goysha baker in town, what should the Yidden do? Star? Halalechem lavadi yich yodam. So they said, okay, it's mutter. But the places that claim that the Isser never came to their place, so why should there be a difference between?
It never came to their place.
Chazal made a gzeda, not to have
not
the goyish bread. So somebody Shainim claimed that Isser never came to Europe. They said that to Europe we never got that Isser. It never traveled across the ocean. It never came to us.
So
okay.
Only as far.
Yeah, they accepted it. We didn't accept it. Okay. So if that's your claim, that the Sfardim accepted it, we never accepted the Sisur. Okay? So if that's your claim, why should there be a difference between if it's a baker or a Balabayas? If you claim that you never accepted the Isur, you never accepted the Isur.
I don't understand the Havamina. One is a private home that they can do whatever.
I know. That's what
I don't understand the Havamina.
Exactly. So I want to.
One is public, one is.
Okay, so I want to explain why he's like, how can the Shach not understand what me and you understand?
Right.
Like, you can be a 5-year-old child, you can understand.
Right.
So I want to explain what I think he doesn't understand.
He missed it.
They didn't miss anything. Don't worry, the Shach is quite smart.
Yeah.
So what the Shach probably was thinking like this. It was a lumdus question. Chazal made a gzeira. You accept it, you didn't accept it. Don't tell me you accepted 50% of it. You said Chazal made a gzeira. We don't find in the Gzeiras Chazal that they said a difference between Balabatim or Palta. They made a gzeira. So did you accept it or you didn't accept it? The Sfardim say we accepted it. It just we made an addendum and we said that if there is only a Goysha baker, for sure Chazal would have allowed it because it's Chaya Nefesh. So we gave up shot in the Gzeira and we said for sure that the Gzeira doesn't include if there's only a Goysha baker. Okay. But the Shach says the Ashkenazim who claimed that they never accepted. So did you accept or you didn't accept? To say what? You accepted half of it? That's weird. In his mind, you accept or you don't accept. Nasav and Ishma. You accept it or you don't accept it.
That was the point of not about the public person. Yeah. Okay.
So even though Bisvara makes a lot of sense, and that's Taka, he leaves the halacha because Lapel, that's the halacha what the Hamas says. But he says, I don't understand. It's interesting how he doesn't understand. What don't you understand? But that's what I think he doesn't understand.
Yeah, the whole thing of Kashat Yisrael b'chol Yisrael.
Right.
So where do you come up making this distinction between Ashkenazim and Sephardim?
Exactly. It's a very good question. Monofshar. Yeah, Pasha, not Pasha.
And also when the Ramos says V'yeshoimrim, means like this, but by us there's also people that say like the Beis Yosef.
Right.
It's just that Yeshoimrim by us different. So that means that it's not all the Ashkenazim saying the same.
I'll tell you
thing.
what, I think I have to look again in Yad Malachi when that there is a cloud. Whenever the Mechaber or the Ramos say V'yeshoimrim and they don't bring another V'yeshoimrim, that they mean to say B'emes Kach Halocha, but the Chasidim v'Anshe Ma'aser will be Machmer. The money borrowed, that's the cloud that's brought in the Yad Malachi. So when the Ramot Haka says V'yesh Omrim, V'yos to be Mekel, he means to say that the Ashkenazim are Mekel, that they buy any time past Balta, but the Chasidim v'Anshe Ma'aser and the Ashkenazim won't. They'll be knowing like the Sfardim. That's the pshat in the word V'yesh Omrim.
Not because
The Ramot.
not
Yeah.
because
The Mechaber is Me'etzem Machmer. He holds that no,
But
that
the
the
Yeshom, see, I'm learning right now the other day, and we always have this confusion. The difference between when the Yeshomim says by the Machaber and the Yeshomim by the Ramah.
no,
I
there's
understand what you're
hundreds of different klolim.
saying.
And what I'm saying is when the Machaber or the Ramah just say one V'yeshem. So, like for example, the next zift is going to be I brought here. There's only a one Yeshemim that he brings. So no, I didn't quote that one. So okay, whatever. But there's a cloud that whenever the Mechaber or the Ramah say just one V'yeshem, they say there's no, they don't say Yeshem and V'yeshem, just one V'yeshem.
Okay.
So what they mean to say is we think that this is the halacha, but if you want to be from the Chassidim and Anshe Ma'aser, you could be Machmer.
That's the Yeshomim.
Right.
Yeshoimrim is the
This
halacha.
halacha, but Yeshomim, if you want to be Machmer.
No, the
No,
opposite.
the Yeshem is
They'll
the
bring
halacha.
a lot of times the V'yeshem, which is a kula. They'll bring a V'yeshem as a kula. V'yeshem, you could be Mekel. So really what they mean is that's the halacha. Why did they say B'loshem V'yeshem since they didn't bring another opinion? They meant to say that if you're from the Chassidim and Anshe Ma'aser, you should be Machmer. So same thing over here. The Ramos
So
says
why not say that? Why have the Yeshomim last and say the halacha that they think you should? I mean, I don't know. So
That's what the
what
Yad
you're saying
Malachi
is that
says.
We're both the Ramah and the Machaber.
If they say just
Yeshem-
one Yeshem, they don't say two Yeshem.
Okay, but
They just say
really,
one Yeshem.
Is the halacha.
That's the halacha. Why did they say Yeshem? To be merames that there's others that don't say that way, and if you're from the Chassidim and Anshe Ma'aser, you should be Machmer. That's what Yad Malachi says.
Basically, we're saying is that the Chassidim and Anshe Ma'aser by the Ashkenazim, they're always
Yeah.
better than home.
What is
Yeah.
it mean?
Or
Yeah.
Jewish guy.
People that want to be extra Machmer.
That means
The
that
One of the
Hazim
words.
and
Yeah.
by the Ashkenazim
Yeah.
always
This is among Ashkenazim, it's right?
Yeah, well, today it's by the Ashkenazim because the Sfardim are Machmer. And the Ramos says that the Ashkenazim say not that way, but he says it below Yeshemrim. Yeshemrim, that feeling of Malcolm Shabbat Solomon,
So how
shorty.
did we get to this point where today it's very common for us to eat Pas Akum? I mean,
You
people
can't-
go to to the store and eat Pas Akum all the time. It's not necessarily.
For Sfardi, it's also.
I know. But
And for Ashkenazi, it's not recommended also.
Depends if you're a chassid or
Not recommended.
or not.
Right.
Not recommended.
That's why I said you make tuba
Right.
You don't.
So you should make sure for sure. Bring Shulchan Aruch Tov Reish Gimel. Instead of Shulchan we all become smarter.
We thank you. It's okay.
Or Hasidim Lemaisa. Pasisol,
Yeah.
it's more by the Litvat.
I mean, so really, you shouldn't be eating Pas Akum according to this.
Yeah. Okay. I want to bring your attention to the end of the bakery. A Goyish bakery.
That's worse than of course, than
From a bakery.
Pas Akum is cash bread. I can sell it up.
Pas, but they sell them Pas Shaprite. It's called Pas Palta. It's baked. It's Goyish bread baked in a bakery.
In a kosher way.
So Pas Akum, much nature, no matter what.
If it's in a bakery, that's when there's a machloikis. As far as them say, you only could eat it if there is no other bread available. Right. So the Sfardim said that everything is us unless you have no choice and there's no other bakeries. And there's the 3 lines from the top. Sorry, 5 lines from the top. 4 lines on the top. Yesh makom shemakilam v'loichim pas menachtem makom shem shenachtem Yisrael. Nation shats crack. The Yeshem mafilu makom shepas Yisrael motzi shonim. The Ashkenazim say that even if you could buy Pas Yisrael, you're allowed to buy the Pas Akum if it's Pas Palter.
See, I'm a little confused. What's the difference between Pas Akum and Pas Palter?
Same thing.
It is the same thing.
No, but you said that Pas Palta is made in a bakery.
Pas Palter is made in a
It
bakery.
could be made in a house.
Right, exactly. That's
But if it's in a house, then that's called Pas Baribat.
Pas Balabatim, yes. Pas Akum is a big word.
Right.
Within that, you could say Pas Palter and then Pas Balabatim.
House is not a big.
Right. So Pas Akum is the big term, and then you have Pas Palter, Pas Balabatim. I just want to bring your attention to the end, something fascinating. If you look towards the end over here, it's I put in brackets Sif Tezvav. Mishanizm e pas evikachavim mutalachal bakora mishainizm emen. After bishatam pas evikachavim mesar pas Yisrael. Eine choishish. Yesh oimrim the mishanizm e pas shel evikachavim va'oichel machedim shainizorem mutalach lemoim. Mishum eva ktota hol them lo yoichel lemoim pas shu ikar asudi tiro le mishum eva vein lilmad mekam l'shori surim. What happens if you're eating with another Jew and he's pas akum? So Shulchan Aruch says to be mekel. Why? Because the other Jew is going to say, "What? I'm not a religious Jew. You don't eat my bread." So I'm going to say, "No, I am Sephardi Tahor, and you are lousy Ashkenazi." Oh, there's going to be a beginning of a good fight. So you know what? Mishum Eva, I'm allowed to be mekel, even though I'm Sephardi and I don't eat pas Akum, even if it's Pas Palter, because it's available to get other bread. But because I'm eating with this Ashkenazi, and this Ashkenazi is right away going to get angry. So I'm allowed to be mekel. I'm allowed to be mekel. Mishum Eva. It's an unbelievable thing. I'm allowed to be mekel because this Ashkenazi is not going to understand me.
But actually, Eva,
doesn't understand. Nowadays, everybody knows the difference.
I don't.
Isn't that similar to why I was allowed to go to a wedding last week? Even though I hold Svira first 33 days, I went to a wedding last week of somebody who didn't hold the.
It's a strong attitude. It's I know, but still look in the shach. Why ain't living with Kamashori Surim? If you look Kamashori, it's not Kamashori Gemisu, the Kil Nami Yisrael, come on, Sofsim and Kuptezvav, the Dafka Pasik Eva, Mishum Dalalechem Yichi Odom. He says by bread is your whole life depends on it. So okay, so you could say a chasna also. You didn't show up to my chasna. I invited you. It's a very interesting halacha. It's a very there's halacha and hashkafa mixed in over here. One more thing. Someone asked me this week. Rebbe says I once got the shaila, which was mamish. It was like serious. The shaila was a real shaila. It was negei lalocha. She really didn't like his parents. She didn't like her mother-in-law.
a lot of people do.
The Gemara says it's a natural thing. The Gemara says it's a nature. There's nothing.
You know why? So your mother tried to get her business. That people got married, leave them alone. No, do this.
So he said, my mother comes to visit me sometimes. Not a big deal. She comes a little bit. She said, I don't want your mother ever to step in our house. So, I mean, there's halacha and hashkafa in the shaila. I mean, if this guy wants to stay married, he should probably listen to his wife. But there was the halacha thing. So the emes says that the halacha, she's right. The Rambam says in Hilchos Ishus Perikut Gimel Halacha Yudalet. Hoimer liish the ene tzene shiav lebeisi im avich v'yimayich achayich v'chesayich. Shemen loy. V'tihi aleches lam ksher lam davar v'telech lebeisi v'yapam b'choydish u'machor regel v'regel. V'loy kon sahem lo, ele meira lo davar. V'mo kagon choyle leiden. Shein koifen es adam shekon sacherim b'rishusay. It goes on both ways. If he says, I can't stand your parents, so she has to go to their house, unless she had a baby. And what do you mean? Then he has to let his parents-in-law into the house.
Wow, wow. Big problem.
She says, I don't want your father, your mother, your brother, your sister ever to walk into my house or into my courtyard because I don't like them. So you have to listen to her because the Gemara says, "Ein adam nochash, ein adam dor benochash bekfifa achas." You can't force a person to live with a snake. She thinks that her father-in-law is a snake, her mother-in-law is a snake, so you can't force her to live with a snake.
They're not living.
She
They're
thinks
not living with
she-
that.
No, but doesn't matter. You want a snake to come visit you?
Yeah, but even though it's completely erroneous, it's completely the wrong perception, and she has her own issues, and
So the Rambam
She's
says
not-
it b'stam,
She's not right.
but the Rambam says it. The Ravid actually
This can
seems to
make
argue.
a get.
I,
Maybe
Right.
I
divorce.
helped somebody once that had a problem. The husband didn't want something that she should do. So I put it, I asked, I put it to her with the law. It was not like this. The law is like that. But what kind of husband is that is like that? It's not that we look at the law and we say, oh, I could do this.
Right,
It's like we're not supposed to be like this.
right,
But if somebody wants to go exact, he's allowed to say, but I'm sure you know.
exactly.
That's what she was doing. That's what I have the right.
my wife.
Now,
Yeah.
yeah.
Doesn't like it.
All right.
I mean,
So it's like,
I
what
can't-
else?
Okay,
Turn it
Yeah,
around.
but
What-
he's supposed to take care of her way.
apologize profusely.
Yeah, but I don't know what it says.
Marriage is
Her
a
mother.
mother.
They could get divorced if they can't handle that. But she is the
Anyway,
woman, she doesn't go to
their
therapist,
wedding,
yes, and
so-
she thinks like this.
But-
Yeah, you have to,
You know, she's
Yeah,
not,
says
she's
it's
got married in
correct.
September.
Yeah.
There's children.
Maybe
That's
take it
what
to
I'm
the-
saying.
you want to take it to the therapist and she should change, no problem.
Not
Today you have to,
And I,
tomorrow
she
you want to
doesn't
get
want
divorced, no
to
problem.
have anything
Yeah.
to do.
You can't
Am
handle
I
this.
supposed to just,
This,
my
this
my
is
wife
he
wants to
is
be
right.
in
Yeah.
her joy with her.
Let me show you.
Turn the
Question
table around.
is,
Dude, turn the
if-
table around. What
if
he-
that's
what
her
did he
perception,
say?
Do I continue to let
What is that,
her
the Rambam?
be? I mean, I have no desire to.
Why don't you just let it come from her? If she's open, right over the street.
But I mean, if in the future they don't have children now, but if they're, she's only 20, you know, as a percentage, she's gonna have children. How do we go about that? If I don't, if we as a child, okay, we're thinking about this. Do I come to the bris? Do I come? I mean, of course I'm gonna come to the bris. Am I gonna be able to hold the child? No.
So don't hold the child. Stay
What?
stay away. Stay away.
Stay away.
You see, the Chazal
Make a
says
flocket.
the
Yeah,
attitude is that if a person thinks that that guy's a snake,
Yes, the minimum snake.
yeah,
I am.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I am.
Mishigas,
Sorry.
atam v'reach.
A lot of families like this when they have
The thing
children
is,
from
halacha
abroad.
is,
Now, if you win,
Respect it, yeah.
if you win the
Respect it.
$300 million lotto,
She'd be the
which-
best friend with
if you.
Good question.
Snake,
Good question. Good question.
that is.
Amen v'amen. If it should happen, and then you should find out.
she texted you that.
Don't text anything.
The
The Ravid
I
says,
texted her about 12 times apologizing for my one yell, and he hasn't accepted.
But you learn from that not to yell anymore.
I knew not to yell anymore, right?
Not only to Fuad, to
For
nobody.
everybody.
the Ravid
You
says,
have to thank her.
Kosev Ravid, Ema say bisman shein boz b'gvula. Bo b'gvulon, Ema tzinoy se b'shvilim m'kaimach b'shamod shaloi bein lem boi schus hoil v'ureit zalem vidasa. Aber mavak shem l'sader lem inyan shaloi tztaro se b'diras. What happens if he owns a house and his mother's living in that house? and then he decides he wants to move into that house. So then she can't force him to chase his mother out of the house. But they ask the husband to be masada things that, But the question is if the Rambam agrees with that or not. If the Rambam said Bistam, it's mashma that we always listen to her from the Rambam. The Maggid Mishnah says, "V'chein kosa b'Alfus b'tshuva b'sogis emes uzman shemos b'gvula." V'ani omer, says the Maggid Mishnah, "Ein odam dor ben im nochesh b'kfifa." You can't ask a person to live with a snake. Elakachu ikir adovash im nira lebezdin shehem merei metzirim lo. He says, I think that the bezdin has to really look into it. If she's throwing sand or there's really an issue here. If they're nasty to her, that the husband has a little bit the upper hand, because the house belongs to the husband.
Who's saying this?
The Maggid Mishnah.
Was
The
that
Maggid.
Francis Fangin?
It's a good question. I don't know.
Because usually, I mean,
I don't know. I don't know.
A Moroccan wife is going to be like that, and Ashkenazi is like
Yeah,
that. It's different.
Once they start fighting, they're all the same. So
The fight, huh?
yeah, once they start fighting, it's again. Interesting.
What did he say?
He says,
"Lefika
she can't limchas al yodan to make a macho against them, the mother, the sister.
fight.
Yeah,
No?
to make a
Yeah,
protest,
fine.
to make a protest,
Yeah.
to say I protest. You're living here. I want you to leave. Ela she has to have a real taina. The Maggid Mishnah has like a balanced opinion here.
Yeah.
He says if the Bezdin thinks that is right, that mother-in-law gives us those dirty looks, or says nasty things, says things to her that hurt her, that Nachman al-Islam, there's the famous the saying in America, hurt people hurt people. That's the way it is. Hurt people hurt people.
Abuse,
Huh?
people abuse, the kids abuse.
Exactly. Hurt people. So if they see that the mother-in-law is one of those people, so then they tell the husband, you have no choice. You have to get your mother out of your house. But if they think it's Dvarim Shem Ben Mamish, she's just throwing sand, so then
Is this talking about living or visiting?
it's not so clear what in the Maggid Mishnah. I think the Maggid Mishnah is only talking about living, and he's really working off that Ivid. That he says, my mother lived in the house for 20 years already, and why should I chase my mother out of the house? So from the Rambam, it sounds like that's it. But
Rambam sounds like they're visiting only, no?
but yeah,
See,
true. You
Royal
could
Bank is-
true good diuk. Yes, you could say that the
What
Rambam
do you
does.
say the Rambam said?
The Rambam's saying when they're visiting.
Visiting.
So you could say in the case where that house belongs to him and has always been living, that the Rambam does agree to the Ravid. It's true.
She
You
was
could
there
say
from
that he doesn't have to throw his mother out. It's
So
true.
that's when the mother was there from before.
What do you mean?
Right. The Ravid is talking in a case that the mother was living in his house for many years before he got married with her.
So
And
he
then-
came into the situation.
She married into the situation. So the Ravid says it's his house. His mother was living there. You're not mechayiv him to kick his mother out of his house. But the Maggid Mishnah says you have to judge. If the mother is really being nasty to her,
What is that throwing sand?
that's not sand. They're saying if
Well,
the
that's
mother
real,
gives
that's
her a
real.
comment,
Right.
he says something, to the one, why are you standing here by the window? Why are you looking here? Why are you standing? She keeps on micromanaging her,
Right.
says things to her,
Right.
so it makes her tzad. So then we tell the husband, listen, you gotta get rid of your mother. Sorry, sir. Your mother's being nasty to your wife.
Right.
And if Stam, she's saying things, it's not the case.
She has the problem.
Then she has a problem. Yeah.
Rabbi, now every chatan and kala, before the chatan and kala, when you say Hashem, give me a nice, beautiful wife, you have to say also beautiful mother-in-law.
Nah, you can
Yeah?
kick her out of the house.
Because you
You
could live in a
kick
different
her-
place.
you kick her out of the house.
She goes somewhere else.
You don't have to live with her all the time. You pick your spouse. You don't pick your in-law.
Father, in-laws not always living there, but when they come to the house, they give, why you don't do this? Why don't
It's good. Okay.
you have a good in-laws?
Yeah. Okay. Verstehe. So I
Best.
have no.
Not everybody has a good.
Baruch Hashem. Okay. L'chaim. It's the month of Iyar. Today's Beis Iyar.
Today's Yom Holedet Rashash, no?
Yeah. The Rebbe Marash is Yom Holedes.
Wow.
Tiferes shebetiferes.
התחילה להרים.
Lechatchila. Oh, so
I
good.
know.
We should all be matzliach in a way of lechatchila ariba.
Amen.
Hey, Toya.
Okay, Baruch to you.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Who was?
Shkoyach for everyone that joined us.
Anyone?